What's up guys, it's Danny here from ABC Gaming, and today we're going to be looking at making a Match3 tutorial in Gamemaker Studio. I'm going to start from scratch, and because the last two parts, the code wasn't really that great. A little bit unnecessary bit of code. I've sort of worked out a much simpler way to do it. So I'm going to jump straight in, and I've already created a sprite and a background. Sprite is got from a sprite pack that you can find on opengameart.org. There's plenty of other ones there, the link is in the description. And just go in, and in the folder, when you open up the folder first, you'll get to this PNG. Go straight into PNG, into separate. You can choose whichever one you want. I've just gone with this one. And what I've done is it starts off really big. So I'm just going to transform, and go to stretch. And just do 64 by 64. And that's going to make things a lot easier when it comes to coding. So just center it then, and you got it straight in. I've already created the object as well. Just, how to create an object. If you don't, I suggest you look up a video on the basics of Gamemaker, because I don't have to explain everything. And as well, just create a background. I'm actually just going to rename it BG1. And when you go into the room, just go into backgrounds and choose BG1. I've actually set the Y coordinates to 600 to get the brown bit down the bottom, because otherwise it just ends up nowhere. You just put in 0. So just put 6,600. And also the room size is 800 by 600. That's why that had to be 600, the Y. So we just go straight in to the left breast event. Let's try and get this up and running as quickly as possible. So we just open up the code. And we're going to be using two functions. Place meeting and instance nearest. And the first one will just check if there is a collision. If there is basically a collision, but it's like if there's an object at particularly set coordinates, and it will return a true or false value. So I want to say, create an if statement, and if there is obj jelly1 at x plus 64. So that will check if 64 pixels plus x plus 64. So the x coordinates of the object you clicked on plus 64. If there is an object there and it is object obj jelly1, return true. And when you put in the and, it means that this one also has to be true in order for the code underneath it to work. So we'll do the same again. Place meeting, and we'll just do x. It's x plus. So that one was 64. So we'll do x plus 128. So that will take in the one that is essentially 2 blocks to the right, and then just the y coordinates will be the same because it's all going to be horizontal, and then obj jelly1. So we need another bracket. I made it. Let's see what's missing here. I don't need that second if, and I don't need that at the end. I don't think. No, I do. Yeah, that was unnecessary. My apologies. So we just go back, and the other thing we're going to do is with the instance nearest, you're going to create an obj temp1 and an obj temp2. And what this instance nearest does is it returns an object with, it depends on what you could just say with instance. Oh yeah, sorry. If you did with instance nearest and you just put this in, what it would do with if you had with instance nearest, I want you to instance destroy, it will find the nearest instance to x and y, to the x and y coordinates of this. So just whatever x and y coordinates this particular object has, and find the nearest one to that that's not this, and with that destroy it. But we're just going to do it like this, as opposed to putting it into the width bit, because we could use it for other code later. Like for example, if I had a variable in here that I wanted to call, I'll just create the second one, it's jelly1 as well. But sorry, just very quickly. It's the same values that you put up here. So you check x plus 64 and x plus 128. So that'll cover both the objects. But what you could have, like say with temp obj1, you could do obj temp1 dot level. So that would be the level, whatever the level variable was. for that exact object at that location, it would be contained in this bit of code here. And we wait to call on that bit of that variable and get value for that. So just do with, and if I do with obj temp1, this code will just apply to obj jelly1, the object jelly1 that is at x plus 64, which is going to be 128, and then whatever the y coordinates is. That one only. And we want to do instance destroy. And then copy that code. Just change the obj temp2, and then instance destroy. So it also destroys the object you clicked on. So if we do it that way, oh no, my thing's in the way. Damn you, easy bit. Okay. Don't know how I got out of that, but it worked, I think. So if we go in now, it takes a little bit longer to compile in Gamemaker Studio, but it's not that bad. If we click here, all three are deleted. Now I'll show you a quick example that it works properly by just doing, we are jelly2. We just load in the second one here. Do the same thing as we did before, stretch it 64 by 64, and then oops, okay, I don't know what that was, don't need it though. Center it, and you can just duplicate this actually and just name it obj jelly2. All you do, go in here, find, I think we did this before in one of the other ones, and just to find jelly1 and replace it with obj jelly2. Replace all. That's all you need to do. And then we change the sprite as well to that. And if we put this, delete this middle one here, and we'll stick in obj jelly2 here, and then we'll stick 3 in after that. As you can see, when this loads, doesn't delete, deletes. But we have a problem. If at the moment it will just go to the right, like if I was to choose the middle block, you will see nothing will get deleted. So we need to change up our code a little bit. So what you can do is, we could, there's two ways we can do it. I'm just going to do it the easy way first. Else if, we're just going to, because there's only 3 different ways, it can either be 3 to the right, it can either be 2 to the right, 2 to the left, or 1 to the right and 1 to the left. So it could either be, you're either going to click on the center block and look for 1 to the right and 1 to the left, or you're going to be looking for, or you could be looking for, no, because it won't be the center block then. So yeah, so if you're clicking on the center block, you want to be able to check either side. So you're just going to do the exact same thing as before. So it's probably a better idea. Let's just copy and paste and just change this to minus 64. Get rid of that else and I do minus 64 and plus 128. That will work for if center object is clicked. And then change this if left, far most left, I don't know, object is clicked. I kind of know what we're talking about anyway, so it doesn't really matter if that doesn't make sense. We'll do another else. We'll just stick in the third instance as well, which would be if you clicked on the farmost right one. So then it will go through all 3 of those cases. Obviously, again, you might want to tweak this code a little bit because it's still doing unnecessary bits of coding that probably not needed. Click on the center one. Oh, that is because of, I don't know why that. I don't even know which one I changed there. Well, which one was it? Was it this one? Was. OBJ Jelly 2. We're going to copy and paste it anyways back into OBJ Jelly 1. And then we just do the control and find OBJ. Oh my lord. I want to replace it with. Okay, so now we just have a look at what we got here. X plus 64, so that'll be if it's 2 to the right. And this time, X minus 64, we'll check 1 to the left, and X plus, X minus, oh, well this one has to be, no, that one can be the same, sorry. This bottom one has to be minus 1 to 8. So I have to make sure that they all match up. Now if I do it this way, I just have this gut feeling that there's something else wrong with this code. But I'm hoping it works, because I am thinking of this up on the spot. That works, no bother. I think probably what's easier is if we, and I don't, I need to control C, control V, I can. We'll just create 3 layers so I can check all 3 of them without having to keep reloading the game. So the center one doesn't work. What if we get rid of the else bits? So we'll check this first one, and it's not going to be true if I click on the center one. We'll kind of check this, and this one will check.